It's time to talk about the trenches, the offensive line, the cornerstone piece of the offense. We're going to be talking about three guards, a tackle, and a center in this one. Let's waste no time and dive right into it. Beginning things off with Elijah Vera Tucker, even though he missed all of last season, I do still feel like he has potential to be a high upside signing for some team because he is a young player that can still that when healthy can still be a very talented guard, but also somewhat tackle. Spot Track has him listed as a tackle, though most of the time with the Jets he played at guard. Going to be let walk as the Jets are gearing up to franchise tag Brees Hall. Spotrac has his market value of just below 13 million a year, which definitely feels a bit high due to missing last season. But at the same time, I do still feel like you could probably get him around that time, but the injury concerns and the injury history are going to definitely impact that value. High upside guy if he can stay healthy, though again, playing less than half a season in 3 of your first 5 years in the league is not a great sign. So that's why it's a potential really good value signing for a team. As long as he can stay healthy, he can definitely make an impact on any roster you give him. From the reports I've seen regarding that injury, it doesn't seem like it's much of too concern for 2026. So that could definitely be something playing in his favor for this. But still, Elijah Vera Tucker, again, kind of that combo guard tackle. Even Spotcheck lists him as a tackle, played guard, whatever. Do you still feel like he is a very solid signing? Joel Bitonio is next, one of two Cleveland Browns we will be talking about in this video, as their entire offensive line is hitting the market. A veteran guy entering his age 35 season in the league, a solid guard that can still put in the work and is going to be looking to play meaningful football after being in Cleveland the entirety of his career up to this point. Only played in fewer than 10 games in the season once, and that was back in 2016. Besides that, he has been healthy and reliable since in Cleveland. Spotcheck has a 1-year deal closer to 13 million. Could be less for the ability to ring chase and try and get that luxurious Super Bowl and play meaningful football that I know he wants to. Either way, most likely going to be going to a contender. As again, all of at this point, this up in there in age, this kind of veteran presence is going to want to get a ring at some point. And I do feel like this might be the offseason to see him explore those opportunities, finally departing from Cleveland after a very solid tenure there, but at the same time, it is a rough situation over in Cleveland. That situation can be talked about aplenty. But for Joel Bitonio, any team that needs guard and is going to be looking to really try and get a contender built is going to be loving to have him. Houston's the main one. Their offensive line was pretty rough last year, and slotting in Bitonio into that offensive line is going to do nothing but help them. But yeah, a contender is where I see Bitonio going. The biggest name on the offensive line market this offseason, Tyler Linderbaum, is set to hit the open market. It's not very often you see a top of the line center be a free agent. The Ravens are currently trying to do everything in their power to sign him to a long term deal, it seems, and I fully get why. Linderbaum is also a prime franchise tag candidate, I see, if a long term deal cannot get done. Again, the Ravens would be stupid to not keep him in the building for as long as they can. He is a game changer at center. Spotrac expects a $17.7 million a year deal for him over a 4-year deal. Would definitely not be surprised if that is signed. I also wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to go higher, trying to get closer to that 20 million AAV, as Creed Humphreys signed an $18 million AAV deal in Kansas City not long ago. I expect Linderbaum to want to get more out of that. Either way, a team is going to get a great center for him and a cornerstone piece of the offensive line if he does find a way to hit the open market. If he does stay in Baltimore, they just keep a really damn good center to alongside just Lamar Jackson and this new Jesse Minter led team. Either way, going to be probably the offensive line story to watch in the offseason. Wyatt Teller is next. The second Cleveland Brown had a bit of a confusing season with the Browns last year. Got benched, got injured, but all around when he was playing for them, he did a very solid job. He's hitting the open market, going to be trying to find a place to be able to play meaningful football away from Cleveland as he spent his previous 7 years in the NFL with the Browns. Entering his age 32 season, there's still solid starting time ahead for him no matter where he ends up going. The market is going to be impacted by the calf injury he suffered last year. Spotrac shows roughly a 3-year, 10.2 million a year deal on the open market for him. Feels right for a solid guard. It is tough for teams to find really solid guard play at times. All around someone that I do want to see play meaningful football, similar to teammate Joel Bitonio, because when you have a really good offensive lineman, they can be really fun to watch, even with a mediocre team. Joe Thomas is a Hall of Famer, spent his entire career in Cleveland. I would have loved to see him play meaningful football down the stretch. But instead, he had to deal with watching the Browns to see him play some great football. Hopefully, that won't be the same for Wyatt Teller and Joel Bitonio. Hopefully, they do get meaningful snaps down the line. So we'll see with them. This mainly Wyatt Teller, the cheaper of the two, but definitely still a really solid option. The lone tackle we will mention today is Larry Borum, former Miami Dolphin, spent last year as a member of the Finns. He fit in for an injured Austin Jackson at times, started in 11 games, made appearances in 16, played a career high of snaps and snap percentage with Miami last year at 664 and 67.6% respectively. A solid value backup signing for a team that can use depth on the offensive line. Still young, going to be entering his age 27 season, and with the work he put into Miami, I do expect him to find a home somewhere in the league. Spotrac has a 1-year deal for roughly $3 million. That is a great sign, I feel, for a team that's looking for some really solid depth at a valued cost. Larry Borum was one of the more underrated signings of Miami's last offseason because the bigger one, James Daniels, is also hitting the open market being released. But I do feel like Larry Borum is a very solid player, can fit in when need, and is going to be a really good depth piece for a team, especially with only needing a $3 million deal. It seems a team is going to be all over that, no problem. All right, so that does it for offensive free agents. Next time, we will be discussing the defense, beginning with the defensive line. Hope to see you all there. If you are new, subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. Trying to get to 600 soon. Yeah, subscribe. Greatly appreciated. I'll see you all next time. Have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.